Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to start. Estamos listos para comenzar. We are in the spelling section of our schedule and music production. That's 11 o'clock to 11:30. So let me take care of my thing real quick and then we'll get you guys going. Okay, so here's what I was thinking. Okay, I know this is kind of like a Christian school, so I'm going over to this Bible Gateway, and they give you audio Bibles. And I was hoping that it was gonna go and be more like when they read the Bible, you actually look at what you're looking at. But on this ones, when you go to audio Bibles, it gives you other links as opposed to just straight up, just read what is written. Aquí estaba viendo yo que uno puede leer su Biblia y estaba buscando aquí donde uno podía leer el programa, podía leer la historia para usted, pero aquí tienen otras cosas. Not too crazy about that. However, we can always do this. Siempre podemos hacer esto. So if you just want to get, let's assume the first chapter of Genesis 1, right? And if you're an atheist, it's okay. Just get the idea of what we're going to do here. Okay, la idea de lo que vamos a hacer aquí. This could be any other book in online. Okay, all you want to do is you want to be able to read it and then pause it so you can see the spelling of the words. So we're going to go ahead and copy and paste this, Command C, and then we look for a program that is just going to go ahead and play it for us. And guess what? We already have it for you up on our treasure chest. So we come up here and we go to the text to speech, and you just do Command V, and you can even have your favorite voice to read the information. All right. So let's assume that you're struggling with reading. Vamos a suponer que usted está batallando con leer. And you're reading like this. In the beginning, God Okay, so you're trying to figure out who's going to help me. I'm by myself. Well, we copied it here. So you play it and
One in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth.
so you pause it. One, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Okay? So you are looking at the words, how they're spelled, try to sound them off. You know yourself, usted sabe, if I were your teacher and you'd be struggling, I would be spending a lot of time with you. Okay? And then, of course, let's see if it jumps over to the next
One in the
one.
beginning God created the heavens and the earth. 2 Now the earth was without shape and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the watery deep.
So as you can see, if you read one and you have mastered it, si lee una y entonces puede estar a la número dos, and if you notice that it actually repeats the number, just might as well get rid of it so you know what that is. And now you're looking at this one. You read it yourself first. Now the earth was without shape and empty. Okay? Now, did I say it right? Well, then you check yourself.
Now the earth was without shape and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the watery deep. But the Spirit of
So as you can see, this this ability to use different programs to help you read, and if you want to go ahead and just get some stories that are more enjoyable to you, you put them up here and you just pause them and you look at the words and see what they're all about. You can even just, if that's too boring for you or that's not really your thing, then guess what? You can probably just go over to what we gave you up here. Okay? Remember that we gave you the lyrics section right here. Where is the DJ music production, song lyrics, right there. And then you look up a song, one of your favorite songs. And one of my all-time favorite songs was "Winning" by Santana. All right. And here's the song. And I want to go and be able to read it and sound it off. Okay. And I'm going to put it right there. Command C. And then I come back over here to this side and basically just get rid of everything that I have here and then put the lyrics of the song and then pause it and then keep going on it, okay? One day I was on the ground when I needed a hand and it couldn't be found. Did I read that correctly? Okay.
One day I was on the ground when I needed a hand, and it couldn't be found. I was so far down that I couldn't get up.
So as you can see, it's like AI now is becoming our all-time best friend. In times of loneliness, I need a teacher. Well, guess what? Get your AI. Once again, this is AI helping us out. Read, ¿ok? Aquí está AI ayudándonos a nosotros a leer. And at the same time, we can pause it. We have control over it. And we can look at the words. Y también podemos nosotros tomar control de lo que tenemos aquí. Now, let's assume that that you want to learn, your English is not up to date, okay? Vamos a decir que su inglés no está al tiempo. Well, that's even better because you can get simple writing such as this, and you can pause it and you can see how it's pronounced. Y aquí lo puede ver cómo es pronunciado. And remember that this thing is bilingual, so this thing actually, you can write, copy and paste writings in Spanish, and then teach yourself Spanish, okay? So vamos a decir, let me see if he reads it. Hoy es un día muy bonito. Okay, today is a beautiful day. I think, yo creo que voy a dar la vuelta en la playa. I think I'm gonna go to the beach and go take a ride out there. Let's see.
Yo creo que voy a dar la vuelta en la playa.
Okay, now that sounds really, really weird. So that might not work for you that well, it might work like this. Let's assume how do you say day? Dia. How do you pronounce dia?
Dia.
It sounds like whenever Dale speaks Spanish.
Dia. One day I was on the ground.
Okay. So hopefully you get the idea of what we're talking about right here. Yeah, Dale would definitely as a matter of
Dear.
fact would do that. So as you can see, you can have all these as a matter of fact, you already have all these tools. Because if you go up here and say, all right, well, let's go to DuckDucky, right? I kind of like to use that that browser a little bit better. Websites, AI website, AI interactive websites that will teach me how to spell words correctly. All right. Aquí una que me va a enseñar cómo decir las palabras correctas. All right. TalkPow ChatGPT does that? What is that? TalkPow ChatGPT. What is that? Let's go and check it out. The most efficient way to learn a language. Okay. Oh, and it's got all these languages. Where's this Espanol? And beginner right here. I'm a beginner. And you are on track. Continue. Academy research, just travel. Okay, what else? All right, I'm just throwing in information here. And let's see if it's gonna, oh my goodness, we gotta log in. All that just to log in. I do not wanna do that. So you continue your search. What is it? What is gonna help me spell correctly? That's what I'm trying to, a free spell checker. Oh, that's Grammarly. Spell IT free spelling practice. Um, free AI grammar checker. Free AI spell checker. Scribble. Let's see what this. Oh, I like this already. Okay. Let's assume that I don't know how to spell conscience. All right, conscience. All right, let's see what it's gonna do for me. How's it gonna go to check it out? All right, is it gonna go to fix all errors? Did it just fix it just like that? Conscience. I guess it did fix it. How about you don't know how to spell the word skeptic? Skeptic. Okay. Skeptic. Find errors, and then it fixes you up. Okay. You can actually take your own test here, and it'll just check your paper right on the spot. Let's see what other options he has. Paraphrasing. Well, it's kind of like the ones that we talked about a while ago, but this one doesn't have sound. I wish it would have sound because spelling, sound, and writing, they all go together. That helps you make it stay in your head. Aquí tenemos otro programa que nos ayuda a escribir las palabras correctamente. Okay? So, I wish this one would have had some sound features, and it probably does. You just gotta go and look him up. Okay, this is the grammar checker, and it's also spelling checker because it automatically fixes your words. Okay, well, let's go and turn it over to Mr. Stevens and let's see what he's got for us today.
Okay, this one's going to be a little bit interesting.
Esto va a ser un poquito interesante.
Now, remember, once again, I'll bring it up once again. We are on the topic of critique.
Estamos en el tema de criticar.
Now, I want to bring this up before we actually talk about this.
Vamos a hablar de esto en lugar de antes de comenzar.
There is always going to be a subject that you can give a better critique to simply because you know it more.
Va a haber tiempos que usted va a saber cómo criticar algo y lo va a hacer mejor porque usted sabe del tema.
So if you know a lot more about the subject, chances are you're gonna have a better thought out critique to give to someone else's project.
So, si conoce usted lo que el tema es y usted ha estudiado profundamente del tema, entonces puede dar buena crítica.
And in the case with music production, I know a lot about music.
Y aquí en el caso de la música de producción, yo conozco mucho de la música.
So when we talk about music, when we talk about it, I'm probably gonna know a little bit more.
Probablemente yo voy a conocer un poquito de que ustedes acerca de la música.
So I just wanted to bring that up before.
Y nomás quería mencionar eso.
Let me go ahead and get my screen share pulled up.
Vamos a agarrar mi pantalla que esté lista.
So what I have right here is I have the school site pulled up, and I want to quickly show you that if you come here to the lessons, right here. Oh wait, no, not lessons. My beloved students.
Y si vamos aquí donde están mis queridos estudiantes.
Or once again, apologies, treasure chest.
Treasure chest. Vamos a venir a la caja de tesoro.
We can come down here to the every app right here.
Aquí donde tenemos todas las aplicaciones.
And then right here, I actually have the PDF for the critique. You click on it, it comes up just like this.
Y aquí tenemos la crítica, el documento para criticar.
So we can keep this off to the side over here.
Vamos a hacerlo a un lado.
And make it just a little bit bigger. There you go.
Vamos a hacerlo un poquito más grande.
So now we can see it clearly. What we're going to be looking at
Lo que
is
vamos a estar viendo,
we're going to be looking at this little track that I did. Once again, it's got the date and everything.
vamos a ver que producí yo.
All right, so let's sit back and relax and let's take a listen.
Vamos a sentarnos y vamos a oír.
For the sake of time, that's about how much we'll play, but ideally you'd listen to the whole thing.
Idealmente usted oye toda la canción.
So let's go ahead and start off with our critique here.
Vamos a comenzar con nuestra crítica.
Now, there is going to be another difference here is that this is going to be reliant on the ear.
Y esto va también algo muy importante que vamos a depender en el oído, cómo oye uno las cosas.
A lot of the other things, like so far, the things that we've seen with photo editing and animation, you use your eyes.
También aquí usamos mucho los ojos con editando fotos y también la animación.
This one is going to make use of your other cognitive skill, which is your ears.
Esto va a usar los oídos.
So now let's go ahead and let's start off with something positive here. I actually really do. I like the beat in this one. I think there's a nice little pattern in the drums.
Aquí me gusta cómo se oye en los tambores.
And the instrumentation, like this little that little vocal sample in the back that's like high pitch. I like that. Fills up a lot of room.
Y aquí el sonido que comienza, que está un poquito alto, se oye muy bien.
And I like this little section here that's like it's kind of like a little drop break section where like most of the elements disappear and it's just a couple things.
Y aquí me gusta en la sección donde como que se desaparecen unas cosas.
And then I also like, you'll see it in a second, that little fill right there with the snare. That's pretty cool.
Me gusta también como se oye el snare, que son como dos tamborcitos que aparecen en esa sección.
And the vocals, they're pretty nice, and they're pretty warm in there.
Y también los sonidos de la música, el que está cantando se oye bien.
So that would be my my positives right there. What about you, sir?
Well, taking away from the the knowledge of the music that you have, I just the song, the feel of the song is automatic, and that's gonna be for people like me that don't know about music, but we can just feel the vibe. Love that about that song, and the fact that everything is flowing, okay, as opposed to maybe, so that's the first part, okay, and it actually gets you to go and shake your head a little bit and just relax and go along with the music. um, I didn't go as detailed as you about the other instruments. I did like the little background in the back, the echoey. That was pretty good, but I really didn't think about the snare that you pointed out. I mean, to me, just man, it goes along with it. It's perfect. So yeah, those are the positives that we can talk about this song.
Oh yeah, I forgot to bring that up. I don't know if you can hear in the background. There's actually an echo on the vocal, which I think is really cool.
Okay, yeah, I hear that. Mm-hmm.
And you do bring up a good point right there. Once again, it is dependent on how much you know about a subject, the type of critique you can give. Acosta doesn't know too much about music, so his critique um, might not be full, but it's always good to have something to say, even if it's just a not too much.
I'm gonna have to disagree on you on that one right there because it's like you're telling all the people that don't know about music that you know what, you guys are not really worth a lot. What I like to change it over to is more of a subjective, okay? Because everybody's gonna have a different taste. Now, the only way that it would work in your section would be okay, look, this is only for the people that know about music. Then only the critiques that know about music, like the guy that you got gave shout outs to last time, if you come up with two or three more of those guys, so you and the guy that you gave a shout out to, and you got two or three more guys, then only those are going to be judges. Then that's where you make a limitation. But I think that, when we say, okay, so it's not worth for the other people because you don't know too much about music, I think we need to go and specify from the get go who is going to critique it. Okay. Uh, Now, of course, in the example that you're giving right now, that because you know more about music, you are going to, yours is going to be worth more. um, I would think that if you were with the other people, then I would definitely think that that would be a fair game right there. But to the other people that you know, just like you told me right now, it's like you're telling all the other people that don't know about music, and it's not gonna be worth that much. I think maybe clarify clarify a little
Okay.
bit about the judges. What can you say about that?
All right, hold on. I disagree with you on one thing, saying that mine is worth more. It's not.
Oh, you
Um,
just said that a while
any
ago.
did I say that?
I think so. I think you said because Acosta doesn't know that much. He's not gonna be. What did you say? I
I
guess, I
said
guess we can look it up.
I,
That
I
that
don't
that
be-
that's. But go ahead.
I don't believe I
Man,
said.
I might be
And
wrong. I don't
if
think
I
that.
if I did, then my mistake. What I meant to say was I'm obviously, since I know more about music, I would have more to say in my critique. But that doesn't mean my critique is worth more. You know, even
Okay.
if you're not the musical type of person. I mean, pretty much everyone's listening to music, and while not necessarily from like a technical standpoint, like me, you can still say some nice things about somebody's jam. How
Mm-hmm.
it sounds, like how you did.
Right.
That's kind of how I meant to put it. If it didn't sound like that, I apologize.
Okay. 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 Yeah, I took it wrong because, but in a way, you do have a great important point though, because you do know more about music. But all I'm saying is the fact that if we I probably got it wrong, I probably got it wrong, but like for example, you ever seen the those shows on TV like America's Idol, and you have the judges there. They have to have a little bit of background. They're not just getting anybody from the streets. They're getting people that know a little bit about music. The mystery singer. So they get all these people. That's what I'm saying. That your point is right when you know more about music and you know what to look for, as opposed to me just from the streets. But if you open it up to everybody, then that's a different ball game. So um, your point about you knowing more and the other people knowing more, then it's kind of like all of you guys know. Like, what's the name of the guy that you gave shout outs to last time? What was his name?
Ryu
Okay, so
Ferdinand.
if you and him were the only ones critiquing this song, just out of the blue, what do you think he would have said based on what his type of music? What do you think he would have? How did he would have critiqued this song?
I think me and him would have had very similar views.
Exactly right, because you guys know music, right? But eventually, you guys would eventually go separate a little bit because I'm sure there's some differences. And also, that's all I'm saying right there. But I probably got it wrong, Mr. Stevens. I apologize because I really thought that when you said, "Well, Acosta doesn't know about music, so his is not gonna be worth a lot," and that was my only point is kind of like you're telling the other people that don't know about music, your critique is not gonna be that bad, but that's not what you meant, right? You just meant
Now,
that.
you know what? I mean, you bring up an interesting argument right there. I see what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That people like me, that we know a lot about this, so we would, we'd be a little bit more sophisticated with our things. But I do believe that even if you don't have the most knowledge in music, you can still you can still slightly, and maybe not like a full on critique, but you can like listen to the sounds, like how you were talking about earlier when you said you could like feel it and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. I mean, that's a critique right there. That's pointing out the positive.
Right, 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 right.
And
Okay.
the feeling, it's a
Mm-hmm.
positive feeling.
Exactly. But like I said,
And
go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Oh, but I would say I think your point should be still taken that the people that know a little more about music and if you would actually categorize only those people are going to critique it, now that right there would be very important. Kind of like the TV shows and the people that critique music. I mean, they got people there that know, they've been in that industry, they know what they're talking about. So and that's what you're talking about. If it was only you and the other gentleman, and you guys have similar, now that's perfect, man, because you're really critiquing it to the core, as opposed to getting other people that don't know about music. They're still gonna be critique, but then you can do a little bit of comparisons between the different styles of critiques. Okay,
There you go. I like your points there. Thank you for bringing that up.
no problem, buddy.
All right, be specific and objective. So I think what I noticed, and I did notice this. I mean, I did make the track, so I know exactly, like, kind of like what the errors are. But if I didn't, then I'd likely still notice it. But there's a little bit of the harsh frequencies in the vocal,
Ujú. Aquí hay
and it's,
un poquito de problemas, since yo hice la música, pero yo puedo ver los problemas que tengo con ella.
oh Lord, okay, let's get this done quick. And I think it's like a little bit of a clicking sound, and that's because I think it has it in the high frequencies. It's probably just how the vocals were recorded.
Y aquí como fueron lo que se cantó, se oyó.
So my solution would be to lower down the higher frequencies so that we don't hear that popping as much.
So, mi solución es de que se oiga, para que no se oigan muchas pausas, componer, cómo se oye el que está cantando.
And now we end on a supportive note. I really do like the track. It's got a very interesting idea to it.
Y aquí sí me gusta cómo está, se oye, y es una idea muy buena lo que estamos haciendo con esta canción.
So there you go. There would be my little critique there. And thank you again, Acosta, for actually bringing that up. It's sort of what I meant to convey whenever I said like you're gonna have like more things to critique if you know about a certain subject more than another.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think about the full scope like that. So I'm glad you thought that right there.
Now let me ask you something right now, okay? Because tell me what you think, as you knowing a lot about music, right? I really did not see any problems with the song. I could chill with the song and enjoy the song. And because I feel that way, uh, when you show the music to somebody else, do you want it? Were you expecting for those other people to tell you about your music that you know something more than that, or something more technical? Or are you satisfied with somebody just telling you, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I think it sounds good. It just I like the way you did it. How do you feel at that? Do you feel like empty when somebody just tells you that, or you wanted to hear more hardcore? No, well, you know what? You should have put the snares over there. I didn't hear you do this, the echoey, blah blah blah, and all that. What would you rather hear as a producer of the
Honestly,
song?
honestly, it really just depends on what I'm looking for. You see, like for example, if I was to take a song and send it in a Discord server, like a feedback Discord server, because they have those in
Mm-hmm.
music Discord servers, they have a little feedback section.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that you send your song in there and people give you feedback.
Kind of like perfect critique, like we're talking about, right?
Yeah, pretty much just like that. You know, they point out the good and they point out the not so good, and then they offer you the solutions to help you. And if I'm looking for that, that's great. But I like to think of it as like the YouTube comment section
Mm-hmm.
and the feedback section on a Discord server, right? The YouTube comment section is where you would see most of the, this song is awesome, great job. And it makes me happy, It always makes me happy when someone says that my songs are good.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me the motivation to keep going. What I'm trying to say is I like both, you know.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever gotten somebody that said some really bad, nasty things about your jam?
Oh yes.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, many times. I've had people told me like I made a remix one time, which is actually my most popular thing on my YouTube. It's a remix of a song called Call on Me.
Mm-hmm.
And the top comment, which um it's not the most popular comment, but this comment just kind of stood out to me because it said, "You destroyed a good song. Congrats."
Yeah.
And I and there's a thing sometimes people do on YouTube called the pin of shame, which is where you pin the comment
Mm-hmm.
so everyone can see it. And that's what I did. And
Mm.
the replies were crazy. A lot of people were there in my defense.
Mm. That's interesting, man. Well, there it goes along with everything that you're talking about, man. Okay. With all the critiques and all that. So that's great, man. Good job, Mr. Stevens.
Yeah. I think honestly, music is just a it's a pretty different avenue from like most things. It's really just something that, if you know a lot about it, then you just know how to give more critique to it.
Aquí puede dar más crítica de lo si uno sabe mucho de música. Okay, buddy. Well, let's get ready for video game design on the next one, and then of course let's get ready with a little bit of the other section that we have. Okay, man. Mathematics.
All
Okay,
right.
buddy. Talk to you in a few minutes. Okay, man.
Yes, sir.
All right.